welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well out there. And before we get into this little bit of horror news, it's actually really big horror news. But do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. Yes, there's some huge Nightmare on Elm Street news. We're going to talk about this man right here, Freddy Krueger. A couple weeks ago, I was on vacation when this was announced, but Paramount Pictures announced that they, in cahoots with the Craven family specifically chose Paramount's take on it, that they're going to do another Nightmare on Elm Street. Paramount Pictures acquired the rights to, I guess the Craven family got the rights to the original Craven script for the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and that's what Paramount's going to base their movie off of. Not a shot-for-shot remake. I know that rumors go on out there, but from what I read, it's not going to be a shot-for-shot remake, but they can base their movie off of the original script that Wes Craven wrote for the original 1984 classic, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, I saw the article by Dread Central. I got to give those guys credit over there. I saw it all over X, and there's some other outlets reporting on this, but I know it's blowing up online. I just want to give my thoughts on it. Meanwhile, I guess, Warner Brothers announced that they are going to pursue their own new Nightmare on Elm Street film, with Lee Cronin coming in to produce, write, and direct, coming off of The Mummy, which I just watched the other day. I'll have a review for that out pretty soon. And here's what I understand from reading the articles and the news that's been online. That Paramount owns the domestic rights to A Nightmare on Elm Street. And they own, the Craven estate owns the rights to Wes Craven's original script and concept for the original film. While Warner Brothers, who owns New Line, which Freddy was, the reason why it built New Line from the ground up. I mean, Freddy was the reason why New Line was so successful over the years. And Warner Brothers owns New Line. Warner Brothers owns the international rights. So this seems like a lot like the Friday the 13th situation, kind of in a way, where a bunch of different people own the different rights to different things, and now they're both competing to get a movie out. Now, in that article on Dread Central, it was mentioned that Paramount probably greenlit their new Nightmare on Elm Street, figuring because they're trying to acquire Warner Brothers, which my opinion on that is let Paramount acquire Warner Brothers at this point. Warner Brothers needs Paramount, and I'd rather another movie studio own that movie studio than a streaming service own Warner Brothers. So please, for God's sakes, just let Paramount take over Warner Brothers at this point, because you all didn't have a problem with Disney acquiring what they acquired. I have no problem with let Warner Brothers, or let Paramount have Warner Brothers, for Christ's sake. But anyway, it's a different topic. And so Warner Brothers is looking to make their own competing film with Michael DeLuca involved and all that. So very interesting news, and I gotta say, making two different Nightmare on Elm Street films, I think, is a huge mistake. Now that obviously Warner Brothers feels they have to do this, now that the acquisition has been moved back, I think this is a huge mistake. We don't need two competing Nightmare on Elm Street films. I don't particularly have a problem with Lee Cronin directing a new Nightmare on Elm Street film. I did like Evil Dead Rise quite a bit, and there was parts of The Mummy that I liked, although I did have some major issues with it, which you'll see in my review. I think he's a talented filmmaker. I think if they let somebody else write the script, might be the way to go. And I don't want him treating Freddy as the Evil Dead. In The Mummy, it was peppered with Evil Dead-isms, which I love Evil Dead. I just don't need it in my Nightmare on Elm Street. Let Freddy do what Freddy does. But we'll see what happens. Paramount has not hired a filmmaker yet, nor a screenwriter. They just announced the film. I think we just need one film, and honestly, even though Warner Brothers is the ones that, New Line was the ones that cultivated Freddy, gave Wes Craven a chance, and spawned many films. I mean, we haven't had a film since the remake in 2010, and I know that's a very divisive film. I like parts of it, and other parts I don't like, and, I think Jackie Earle Haley wasn't the problem with that film. I think there was other problems. I think Jackie Earle Haley gave it his all. I think he was done a disservice by the makeup and some other things, but that's another topic too, the remake. But we haven't had a Nightmare on Elm Street movie since 2010, and I would like to see another Nightmare on Elm Street film. Give it one of these newer filmmakers a shot, do something interesting with it, bring Freddy back to the big screen. Although casting Freddy's going to be a big deal because Robert Englund's retired now and he's not going to come back. So it'll be very interesting to see where this goes. But I tend to lean towards the Craven estate. To see where that goes. I'm probably more interested in that than a rush job by Warner Brothers just trying to beat them out. But it's a very interesting thing, definitely. And I like the original Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it's a classic film. I think Wes Craven gave us something new and inventive, and it spawned a franchise that went all the way up to 2010, and we would have had more movies if it wasn't for the rights issues. So it's a very interesting situation, and we'll see where it goes. And do me a favor down below, let me know what do you think about this? Two competing Nightmare on Elm Street films. Do you think it's a mistake? I don't see how this could be a good thing. Watering down the brand before you get a chance to reboot the franchise, but you know, studios are going to studio. If they think they can make a buck, they're going to do this. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. But I'm leaning towards Paramount on this and the Craven estate, and I think Paramount greenlit it thinking they would already have Warner Brothers by the time they went in production, but now that got pushed back, so who knows? There's a lot of things in flux. But that's pretty much my thoughts on it. I'm going to go with the Craven estate on this one. If they feel like Paramount has the right idea, again, no screenwriter's been hired and no director's been hired. I just think that trumps anything that Warner Brothers is just trying to compete and rush something out, and I don't even know how it will look release-wise, unless they decided to team up and combine their efforts, and maybe that'll be what happens eventually. Who knows? But I thought that was definitely very interesting news, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this situation. But yeah, that's it for me. I just want to throw my comments out, my thoughts out there on this. Again, it's a sticky situation. We don't need two competing films. I wish they would just get together and make one Nightmare on Elm Street film and just let it rip, but we'll see what happens. But that's it for this video. Just a little bit of news on this Friday afternoon, but until next time.